So I'm walking through the parking lot at the Rose Bowl, walking into the game. And
long walk.
The number of Michigan Wolverine fans that stopped me, or in passing, just as drive-bys, if you will, as they were walking to their gate in an opposite direction, the number of them from that large subset of Michigan Wolverine Detroit Lion fans, that they would say to me, Rich, we got screwed. Are you going to talk about it? And I'm like, I've talked about it, but I'm more than happy to talk about it when we come back on the show. You going to talk about the officiating, Rich? We got screwed? Let me just say this. First of all, the Detroit Lions got screwed. That happened. Brad Allen got confused. You could say the Lions confused the official as much as they were trying to confuse the Cowboys. Should Brad Allen be confused? The answer to that is no. The head ref has got a white hat for a reason, because he should not be confused. He should not be caught up in the craziness of a moment. And trust me, you can be on the field if you're there for like the first time. It took me a few years standing on a sideline to not be confused by a lot. I'll never forget the first Super Bowl I covered, 20, soon to be 1 Super Bowls ago, standing in the end zone of where the national championship game is next week.
That's right.
Watching the Patriots go away from me, away from my end zone against the Carolina Panthers defense in that Super Bowl. Every time Brady let go of the football, I thought it was going to be intercepted. And every single time a Patriot receiver came and caught it exactly where Brady was throwing it. It took me a few of those attempts to realize, oh, this is on purpose. Brady knows exactly where he's throwing it. It's confusing. After a while, though, it shouldn't be confusing anymore. And when you're an official in the NFL and you got a bunch of people coming up at you saying, I'm reporting, I'm not reporting, you should just take a beat, figure it out, get it all done. Wait a minute, who's reporting? Oh, Dan Skipper, large number 70, is reported to me as eligible multiple times this game. You're just running at me and maybe even making a motion, but you're not saying anything. And wait a minute, Decker, you just came up to me and said you're reporting. How many of you guys are reporting? Wait, Panay Sewell standing here. Are you reporting? It's not the official's job to ask who's reporting. They're supposed to report. The official's supposed to take in that information, then get it straight. Number of times that I get confused just, in just daily life, talking to Suze, my kids, contractors, maybe. Like, wait a minute. So you're just telling me something. Am I getting this right? Because it's going to cost me money if I get this wrong, or it's going to cost me, an argument. I don't need it. I don't need the grief that's coming. Brad Allen just looked at Skipper, and it looked like he's just like, oh, okay. So, and he even said to the pool reporter after the game, oh, he reported to me multiple times in the game. Did he just assume Dan Skipper was the one reporting? You're not supposed to assume. And so he apparently told the Cowboys number 70 is eligible. And he lined up, in a spot.
Ineligible.
Well, no, the way that he lined up, he was ineligible.
Yeah.
Because, but the way that they lined up was to have Taylor Decker eligible.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that they said they reported, and I do believe reported to Brad Allen, they nailed the execution of this to a T, to use the phrase and the hand movement that Dan Campbell used in his postgame press conference Saturday. He nailed it. They nailed it to a T. And to the point also of them trying to confuse the Cowboys by running up multiple linemen to Brad Allen. As Dan Campbell said in his Monday press conference, New Year's Day press conference, that was part of their plan, was to confuse any Cowboys who didn't hear from Brad Allen, because he did, as soon as he ran away from the rest of the Lions talking to him, because he immediately told the Cowboys number 70 is eligible. And in case the Cowboys didn't hear that, some of the defenders didn't hear that, or didn't hear him get on his belt mic to the rest of the Jones Mahal to say who's eligible, maybe they would miss that. That's what Campbell said after at his press conference Monday. Check it out.
It's about eligibility. That's what it's about. And it has nothing to do with the ref. The ref knows. He knows because 68 reported. It's for the defense so that they see 3 different people, and you're just hoping they happen to not hear that it's 70. That's all.
Problem is they did such a good job. Brad Allen didn't hear it. Because I think he just assumed it was 70 because he told the pool reporter, he reported to me as eligible twice. I guess he just assumed here he comes again. Now then, that might be a reason why Taylor Decker was so damn wide open. They didn't think he was eligible.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't the guy who was listed, so that's why he was let go.
It could be entirely possible that that's what happened, which means it's on Brad Allen. He screwed it up because the way the Lions lined up, it was perfect. They nailed it. Now then, when you look in the rule book, is there a rule that says you must still go for 2 when you're at the 7-yard line?
That rule I
hold
missed.
on a second. I have a notebook over here.
That's
TJ has a script.
Hey, man, I love Dan Campbell. I chose Dan Campbell as my Coach of the Year candidate going into the season. I tweeted out Saturday morning thinking about it because I did my top 5 most intriguing matchups of the week, on vacation and posted it on YouTube. And as soon as we hit it up there, I'm like, damn it, I didn't even think about this until Saturday morning. So I said it on X, Twitter, that, hey, Jimmy Johnson's finally going in the Ring of Honor tonight. Mm-hmm. Troy Aikman's in the booth, and Jerry Jones, I'm paraphrasing, it's over 280 carries already. Jerry Jones is going to have every living Cowboy legend that's willing to come or in the area back. And they were there.
Everybody
It was
there,
like a night at the Cowboys Museum. All of the museum artifacts were alive. Mm-hmm. They were there. And this was a pure, perfect recipe for a Dan Campbell Lions era pelt on the wall type win. And despite giving up 227 yards to CeeDee Lamb, and despite having that spectacle at halftime, and it was awesome, and Jimmy Johnson nailed his speech, and I loved how he leaned in to Irv and Emmett to nail that "How about them Cowboys?"
How about them Cowboys?
To end his speech.
It was good.
Was pitch
man.
perfect.
It was good.
And the Lions came out and had a terrific third quarter. And I'm like, this is it. They're going to do it. Even with CeeDee Lamb going nuts. And I thought, this is it. They're going to do it. Because Mike McCarthy, for some unknown reason, on 2nd and 14, says throw it. And Dak, for some reason, doesn't take the sack, which would have been better than him airmailing it out of bounds at the pylon. Mm-hmm. Once that happened, he gave the Lions an extra timeout and an extra 40 seconds that they did, in fact, use to get down the field and score the touchdown to put them in the position to go for 2, which is what Dan Campbell said he told the team prior to them taking the field for that touchdown drive. And for some reason, he said, because he told the team that, they were going to do it no matter what.
By the way, if you notice, Troy called that, I think, on Dallas's 3rd down. He said, if the Lions get the ball back and they score, they're going for 2.
Because CeeDee Lamb couldn't be stopped. And I don't blame him for going for the first 2-point conversion attempt. I have no problem with that.
No.
Certainly if you've got a play that you have executed and you believe you've told the officials before the game, this is going to happen. And again, it's not the officials' job to say, oh, okay, so this is the play that you told us about before the game. You're going to use it right now? Because that's not their job.
No.
Their job is to take in this information and maybe understand what's happening in the moment, and certainly to know who's reporting is eligible and not, and get that straight before snap is had. That's for sure. But it's not their job to say, oh, so you talked about it before. This is the moment? Okay, we'll just be your dupes to try and dupe the Cowboys. That's not their job. So I don't have a problem for that 2-point conversion. I couldn't believe he went for it from the 7-yard line. And then they got Micah Parsons offside, and it's a free play.
And you came and get mad.
And I had to explain to my kids the reason why it's on the 3.5 is it's because it's half the distance to the goal.
Right.
I thought they should put it back at the 2, to be straight up with you. Like, forget half the distance. Like, this is a 2-point conversion. Maybe you go look at that. But again, as you know, I'm not on the competition committee. So, yeah, from the 3.5-yard line, I'm like, does he still go for it again? Had they kicked the extra point from the 7-yard line, you could have gone into overtime, maybe scored, gotten the ball first, right down the field again, and the game's over.
Right.
And we're not talking about Brad Allen today. As a matter of fact, we're talking about how incredible the Saturday night game was and how incredible the Monday night games in college football were. And we're talking about Jimmy Johnson's amazing press conference. Halftime ceremony. Instead, we're talking about Brad Allen, and rightfully so. I don't know how this guy referees another game this year, straight up. And I don't think I'm going to get fined. Honestly,
well, Schefter did report that that crew has been downgraded. They're not doing a playoff game.
Well, then the league should come out and say why.
Yeah.
Because trust me, every Lions fan that passed me in the parking lot at the Rose Bowl deserves that sort of explanation from the National Football League. But
now, can I bring something up?
Hold on a second. But one last thing. Don't give up 227 yards to CeeDee Lamb. Don't do that. That's for starters. Figure out how to bracket 88 a little bit. Don't do that. Don't throw 2 interceptions, including one with 2 minutes to go, which, by the way, again, Mike McCarthy only took 10 seconds off the clock after that. Don't do that. The Lions did not play perfect enough to overcome an officiating mistake from Brad Allen, and then made decisions after that just leave my head scratching. But it's just only going to make the Lions stronger, by the way. This was Dan Campbell again on Monday. Spectacular. I just love this guy. Go ahead and hit it.
I woke up yesterday. I'm ready, man. I've got controlled fury, and I'm ready to go. We're not going to feel sorry for ourselves and wallow in everything. We had plays to make. We didn't make them. And it's a tight game, a good opponent, playoff-type atmosphere, and you got to make that one extra play that we didn't. And so we will use this as fuel. I got pure octane right now. I woke up. I'm ready. So we're moving forward.
Pure octane. They're going to need it because it looks like the Rams are going to come into their house with Matthew Stafford on super wild card weekend. And if they get past that and the Cowboys can get past maybe Green Bay.
Looks like that.
I mean, old school Packers at Cowboys on super wild card weekend.
McCarthy.
Guess what? It looks like the Lions are going to have to walk back into their house again because of the way the results broke on that game and the way that the Cardinals went 2-0 in the state of Pennsylvania this year. Doing to the Eagles what they did to the Steelers a few weeks ago. So, didn't help that the Lions kept going for 2 and didn't make it. Certainly didn't help that the Eagles then lost to the Arizona Cardinals to make this result even that much more important, where we're still talking about Brad Allen, not only today, but potentially on divisional playoff weekend when the Lions have to stroll back into that house again and do it one more time, which they're fully capable of doing. That's the way everything broke from Saturday night all the way to the minute Kyler Murray and the Cardinals and James Conner came up with the win in Philadelphia, which is now a Cowboys win at the Commanders away from having to go on the road and take on maybe the Bucs, who, despite getting smoked, they got New Orleans sainted, which is what Brady's got to be sitting at home. Rick Dalton, Jeff pointing at the screen going, I noticed that when the Saints do that to the Bucs. The Bucs are still a win in Carolina and in from scenario from hosting what looks like the Eagles. By the way, Jalen Hurts' first career playoff game lost to Tom Brady in that building. So wild sequence from Saturday night all the way to Sunday in Philadelphia. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.